Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Taylor's gone. Come on, touchdown, Indy! Woo! IU! America! They got a football team now!
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop!
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Happy Wednesday. You know what that means. You made it halfway through the point. Jim Coyle with you as always. Thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate you very much. It's a little sloppy out there today, a little windy. Going to be windy all day. Some storms probably wherever you are. A little rain, that's okay. It's springtime. Spring showers. April showers. Well, we're not in April yet. Early showers, spring, Mayflowers. There we go. Lots going on, man. The Big Ten and other tournaments underway. Indiana gets hits the floor today, and you're here, and we're here, and glad to have you. Looking forward to Dylan Sinn, Kyle Neddenriep, and our good friend Dustin Schutte will join us today as well. Hope you're ready for some hoops, man. It is underway. Yesterday, of course, the Big Ten tournament getting underway, as well as several others. And Indiana will be taking on Northwestern. I'm going to save the, well, I don't really have to save it, but you know right now that Northwestern has become Indiana's nemesis.
Do you know what nemesis means? A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an appropriate agent. Personified in this case by an honorable cunt.
Oops. I'll have to edit that out. I have to mark that. Me apologies. But, I haven't, producer hadn't got the bell in there for that, but that's okay. We'll have to put a ding in there on that. Other than that, pretty funny. Hope your day's going well. Lots of hoops action underway. As I said yesterday, Pitt gets a tight win over Stanford. Wake Forest in overtime. It's a win. BYU. Big time 105-91 win over Kansas State. Gonzaga, they squeaked by Santa Clara. See, this is, I never believe in Santa Clara. Gonzaga. I never do. Speaking of BYU, BYU's AJ DeBansa, he hit a freshman record 40 in the Big 12 tournament win. Yeah, how about that? Keep thinking, Pacers, who they going to take? And speaking of the Pacers, good boys. I shouldn't say that. Good guys. They're doing well. They, I think they've lost the last two, and both of those have been to the other last place team, Sacramento. The Kings. Yeah. Indiana loses 109 to 114. That's on the road. I think that they come back and play them again. But now I believe the Pacers have the worst record in all of the NBA. But let's see. What is their schedule? Phoenix, New York, Milwaukee. Yeah, no, there's Sacramento. They just played them once. I thought they played them again coming up. But they've got Phoenix at home and New York at home before traveling again to Milwaukee, then to New York, then back out to Portland, San Antonio. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good for the Pacers. Losing looks good right now. Got a good losing streak going. They've lost to Sacramento, which is the other team that they are battling with for last place, which is funny. Again, that's the who's the biggest loser? Who's the biggest loser? Right now, it is the Indiana Pacers. They're 15-50, while Sacramento is 16-50. So we got a big half game difference there. Big half game swing. But hey, they're getting the job done right now. And that's all they need to say. Boy, that wind is just whipping out there. It's amazing. And let's see. I think there was some little bit of, daggone it, breaking news from ESPN, but I don't know if it was anything of substance. I'll have to check that out. But you never know, man. Every day now. Once teams lose in this tournament now, you're going to see coaches get away. Andrew says, figure out a way to shut down Martinelli and IU wins easily. Well, I guess that's easier said than done. He has played extraordinarily well this year. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points last night for the Heat. Second most points in the NBA to Wilt's 100. Yeah, he passed Kobe. Kobe had the record. Thank you, Fred. For the second most points before that. 80. How does one dude score that many points without it being purposeful? And if that's the case, I'm not for that, man. But whatever. There you go. Bam! I mean, if we were, showing highlights of his team all the time, that would be great to do. Every time you showed a highlight, bam! Of course, you'd be kind of stealing that from what is the whatever the chef, Emerald Lagasse. He always do that? Bam! When he throws in the spices. Yeah, well, so good for the Indiana Pacers as they keep on keeping pace with what they need to do. Of course, there is more things going on in college hoops right now. Of course, don't forget, Kyle Neddenriep will be with us as the Indiana boys basketball. It's regional weekend, baby. It's big time. Be some great games. Great games to keep up with. Duke, bad news for the Dukies. Top-ranked Duke has lost their starting point guard, Caleb Foster, to a broken right foot that will keep him out for an extended period. Well, and doesn't that go with North Carolina? Is it Caleb Love that North Carolina lost? I'm trying to think. I believe. Andrew says some pundits have Indiana with a win tonight. Play in. Hey, it's all possible. I think that they beat Northwestern this time. There's no way. Although you're playing in Chicago, but I don't want to talk a lot about the game right now until we get Dustin or Dylan on and the other guys, because that's where we'll be talking a lot about. But Max Crosby didn't pass his physical, so the trade with the Ravens is nixed. Wow, that's huge. Thanks, Ed. That's big for the Raiders. Of course, that's where we expect Fernando to wind up. Lots more coming up. Glad to have you along. And I know we've got two different national championship footballs that they've been promoting here. This is one of them. This is from Big Game. I love this one, man. It's an actual football that you can smell the leather with. You can toss it around, but just go to BigGameUSA.com. You can pick that one up. And then there's the other one that has the panels, the one you'd kind of put in the trophy case. Back with more right after these messages.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NIKCOSPORTS.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On this Wednesday, you made it halfway, baby. And that means a visit from our good friend Dylan Sinn. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, as always, Jim.
Pleasure, sir. It's all pleasure. Hey, are you the World Baseball Classic is also going on, and I cannot believe this, but the Team USA lost to Italy.
Yeah.
Italy. It's one of the biggest upsets in the 20-year history of the World Baseball Classic, and I didn't know Italy knew what baseball was. What do they use? meatballs. Hey, we got to practice. Say, here, they got a meatball. I'm going to throw it to you. Hey, hit the meatball. They must know how to hit the hell out of some meatballs, let me tell you, because they beat Team USA 8-6, and they put USA in a little bit of turbulent water, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I mean, and now it's Italy and Mexico play a game, I believe, and they know exactly what they have to do. It's kind of a weird situation. They know exactly what they have to do to make sure that both of them advance and the United States doesn't make it out of pool play, which is kind of crazy. Like they go into this game knowing, hey, we know we have to do exactly this for both of us to advance and the U.S. to go home. It's kind of a weird situation to see how that'll work out, but. I mean, a lot of these Italian players and coaches, some of you guys know some of these, right? Like Michael Lorenzen's on that team. I covered Alec Jacob, who's a reliever for them, Adam Ottavino, Aaron Nola. Like a lot of these are American guys who are playing for Team Italy. But I mean, like it is Jet Caglianone from the Royals hit a home run. Like these are guys you know for the most part, but the U.S. just didn't bring it.
That brings up another question. Why are there Americans playing for other teams? Like the chick that skis for China. I think that is, I'm sorry, you were born in America. You are an American. How in the hell are you competing for another country in which you may not have even ever been to? I don't know if she has or hasn't, but I don't. Yeah. That's all that is because they weren't good enough to perform for Team USA most of the time, weren't good enough to perform for Team USA. So let me go get on Armenia's Olympic team.
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of it. Like for the World Baseball Classic here, like there's so many American guys that wanted to play, and so you have to kind of figure out, okay, what is the best chance that I'm going to be able to make a team, right? Like,
but that's crap. But see, that's crap. You're an American. You're either good enough or you're not.
I mean, fair enough. And I guess maybe some of these guys from Italy, from Team Italy, should have been on the American roster. Frankly, like it does seem like
absolutely, we could have had a bigger pizza pie party.
I'm looking at the roster now. They got Francisco Cervelli as the manager. A lot of people remember him from the Pirates. Jorge Posada is is a hitting coach. Dave Righetti is the pitching coach. Dave Righetti's been a pitching coach in MLB for decades. Like these are guys you know, right? And so a tough night for the United States. Now their fate is in the hands of Mexico and Italy here in this game that's coming up to decide whether they move on. It really is a shocking result. I mean, they fell behind 8-1. They rallied late, and it's just one of those things where you can't fall behind that far and then just decide to turn it on. I think they kind of took it a little bit lightly, and that's unfortunate.
Yes, and obviously so, but it is what it is. But we got bigger things going on. We're talking about baseball at the onset of the greatest sporting event. To me, it is the greatest sporting event that is over 3 weeks, over that period of time. There's just nothing like it. Boy,
and you're talking about the Big Ten tournament, right?
No. That would not be it, but yeah. But hey, you know what? The Big Ten tournament the Big Ten tournament should be fun this season. I mean, good gosh, during the season we're watching these teams, but now we know there's a direct path, and it is a short path, and it is coming, and somebody is going to meet. And whether it's, these great games, Michigan State that we've seen, or Illinois and Michigan, or whomever, there's some really, Nebraska, really good teams. And so I think it's going to be fun as hell. Well, when we get to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the fact that this tournament started yesterday is almost funny. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It'll be going on for 3 days while teams have not even played. So it's like showing up like, hey, how you guys doing? How y'all been? Hey, how's it going? How's your 3 days? Hey, I've been rested. Yeah, funny. But who's your favorite? I mean, Michigan.
Yeah,
How do you
kind of
pick?
has to be, right? Yeah, I mean, Michigan, Nebraska gave Michigan a really good game during the regular season. Probably should have beaten them, and has been very good toward the end of the season here after kind of slumping a little bit in early February. Illinois is slumping a little bit, but Michigan State's playing really well before losing to Michigan the other day. So, you know who's playing really well right now is UCLA. UCLA moved all the way up to the number 6 seed. Donovan Dent has like 50 assists and 2 turnovers in the last 5 games, something like that. He's been
And
great.
that's a top 25 team. That means you're a top, that people think you're a top 25 team. And for as much moaning and complaining as Mick Cronin has done this year, that's a nice achievement to have climbed out of that middling Big Ten area that they were in and to get up into that. I mean, it's a tough road to hoe.
It absolutely is. And fun fact, did you know UCLA lost 1 home game the entire season?
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a home winning streak that Indiana stopped?
They did, I believe, yes. And so I think they went 17-1 at home, 16-1, something like that. So yeah, it's the mighty Indiana Hoosiers, the only team to beat UCLA.
And that shows you, people, that is why it is so hard in conference play. You don't have 1, 2, 3, 8, 9 home or away places you can play. There are freaking 8 or 17 different ones you could potentially end up in. And it just ain't easy. I mean, yeah, maybe if you go to Oregon, but not so much. They didn't go 0. They didn't goose egg it. So even the last place team can rise up on occasion. We've seen Purdue have issues. We've seen the teams lose. And it also reminded me, Michigan, how good they are. They go 17-1. Their only loss ends up being at home to Wisconsin. A team that they'll could play again and beat by 20. But that just goes to show you it hasn't happened since Indiana's 1975 team and 76 team. They're back-to-back undefeated in the Big Ten, but it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
50 years, people. It's hard. I don't think it'll ever happen again. But but forget that. Let's get back to the action at hand, baby. Indiana is they're getting after it against Northwestern, a team they have lost 6 straight times to. Now, I know because the players weren't here for the other 5. Well, that's not true. They were here for the 5th one, but they weren't here for the 4 before that. There's just no relationship. The coach, the staff, so they don't feel that part of it. But I cannot imagine that Darren DeVries does not know the importance, and I'm not talking about just winning, the importance of winning for Indiana and what losing would look like and the difference between what winning and losing looks like in this game against Northwestern alone.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think, the players were not there for the previous losses, but I think that loss that they had against Northwestern, the one they did have a couple of weeks ago, I think that one is one that sticks with you, right? Like,
it should, because I'll be honest with you, Dylan. I think that if they didn't have that loss, I think that they're in the tournament right now.
Yeah, I think, if they didn't have that loss and then they go out there and win tonight, that probably puts them in, right? Like, that's all you needed to do. And now you need to do significantly more than that because you lost that game at home, quad 2 or 3 game, depending on where Northwestern is today. I have not looked at the net rankings yet again this morning after they beat Penn State. But yeah, it is one of those things. You let it get away, right? Like, they were up by 13 or 11 in the first half. And they just totally let it get away. Lamar Wilkerson had his worst game of the season. He missed 12 shots in a row to finish off. Nick Martinelli went absolutely nuts and scored 21 points in the second half. It was just one of those things where you could tell from whistle to whistle, from buzzer to buzzer, who the better team was. and Indiana just didn't get it done when they needed to get it done. And they couldn't get a rebound in that second half. It's something that bothered them the entire season, and it was one of their worst performances on the glass in that game. And they just didn't get it done. And that is one that sticks with you, like you said, not only because of the implications of the loss, but because they feel like they let one get away. They've talked about that repeatedly, where they feel like they were the better team and they didn't win the game. And so now you go out there, you have another opportunity to not only get some revenge on a team that you thought you should have beaten the first time, but to go out and keep your season going. And that's a lot of motivation, especially for a team that has fresh legs, while Northwestern played last night. So we'll see how that goes. I think we'll see an extremely motivated Indiana team tonight.
Well, one would expect, because I mean, your life is on the line, your season life, and there's no excuse. There's just no excuse. Indiana is supposed to be the better team on paper, so you lost to them already at home. Now you've got to go out and play them again on a neutral floor. And I would definitely call it a neutral floor, even though it's in Chicago, because Indiana generally is 50% of Northwestern games when they're at Northwestern. But they just have to go out and win. But the one thing I don't like about this offense is there doesn't seem to be any direction. It is more like kind of a free-for-all with everyone having a green light from the word go. How do you have, how can there be, any structure? And I think having zero structure is an issue. I think that's a big problem. I was watching, it just kind of popped up on YouTube last night, the 76 team. Well, and that got me to thinking I'm going to have to do some research, because the one thing, as quick as this team is with the ball to get a shot up, they're not an up-tempo team. They don't have fast break points. I mean, I'm going to go back and look, because I will guarantee you the team from 76 is a faster scoring team than this one is. And that is a problem when you have all green lights, but you're not an up-tempo team. You need to be both, in my opinion. If you're going to be an up-tempo shot-taking team, then your entire offense needs to be up-tempo, which means you get everybody involved. And what that means to me is not putting the ball in play and that person turning around and getting the ball up the floor to someone. And we've talked about this. And within 7 seconds of the shot clock, a shot goes up and half the guys are not even down the damn floor yet. So that's what I'm talking about. And I know I used that example before, but it's one that just was burned in my mind is, what the hell are you doing? Especially when it's the person taking the shot is not the highest percentage shot taker. This is not brain surgery, people. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but it doesn't take much when you look at that. So my issue with this team is not having some well, now I've lost the word I'm looking for, Dylan, and you're a wordsmith.
Yeah, basically some
structure.
Yeah, structure. Yeah,
some offensive structure and purpose, which I think would lead to helping them alleviate their unbelievable rebounding deficit.
Some discretion, maybe the word you're looking for. Discretion.
That's even a better. I wasn't even thinking that, but that's even better.
Yeah, it's funny because we saw an example of what it should look like against Minnesota, right? Like last week when they played Minnesota, they were the up-tempo team you were talking about. Every time they got a defensive rebound in that game, all 5 guys were sprinting down the court. They were throwing outlet passes. They were getting the ball up. They got a lot of free points in that game just by being faster than Minnesota down the court. And that really hasn't, you're absolutely right, it hasn't been the case very often this season. I don't know why. For that one game, they were just ready to roll, but they were. And then it kind of went away against Ohio State on Saturday. Now, the problem is the offense hasn't even been the problem, like the bigger problem over the last couple of games. They shot 59% against Minnesota. They shot 55% against Ohio State. So if you play decent defense in that Ohio State game, you're probably going to win it. And they just did. They couldn't stop Ohio State from getting open looks and hitting them from three. And that has to be better. Because if Northwestern, one thing Northwestern will do is they'll hit some shots on you, right? Nick Martinelli is going to hit shots on you if you give him even the littlest bit of room. They need to be better on defense in this game against Northwestern tonight, especially against Purdue tomorrow. Because for all Purdue's faults this season, and there are plenty of them, they move the ball, they get you out of position, and they score efficiently. So IU needs to be locked in on defense in a way that it hasn't been, except for that Minnesota game, for a little bit here. They need to be better in that area. Hopefully a couple days after the Ohio State game will have helped them get ready for that.
And to second that, again, the movement. The movement has disappeared at the beginning of the season. And did you get to go to the open practice?
Yeah, back in July. Mm-hmm.
Remember, well, we actually got to go to two of them, and they were very similar. The movement was just relentless. It was hard cutting. It was fast. Boy, it was like, oh man, they're going to wear these defenses out. Where has that gone? Because that is not there anymore. And that's also a part. They're much easier to guard when you're not doing that. So, and when you're playing better teams, you have to do that. And I think if they don't get back to that, they don't have a chance to beat Northwestern nor Purdue, because that's next up, my friend. But we'll talk more about that on the other side. Dylan Sinn from the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette is with me. Make sure you're giving him a follow, as he gives you great coverage, not only of Indiana, of Purdue, of Notre Dame, of whomever else. What do you cover? Anything else?
I mean, I cover local colleges in Fort Wayne. I'm all over the place. Like I went down earlier this week to Indianapolis.
Well, I know you're all over the place. Believe me. That's why I asked you how many miles you put on your car last week.
Oh, absolutely. I was at the Horizon League tournament earlier this week for basketball, men's and women's. That was at Cortiva Coliseum in Indianapolis, the former Indiana Farmers Coliseum. So
I was getting ready to say the what?
That's what they call it now. Yeah, it has gone through a Banker's Life Gainbridge name change situation.
So
but
is that the one out at the fairgrounds?
That is indeed the one out at the fairgrounds. That's where they have the Horizon League tournament.
See, that needs to always have a special name, because that's a special place, man. That is where isn't that where the first NBA game was held?
That sounds right to me. Yeah.
And Fort Wayne had the NBA team, the Pistons.
That's right. The Zollner Pistons and the Fort Wayne Pistons. Absolutely. The NBA, people forget, the NBA was formed in Fort Wayne. They had a meeting, a couple of leagues had a meeting and merged, the BAA and the NBL, and that happened in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, sitting around a euchre table, probably. More coming up. Appreciate you being with us here on this Wednesday. Jim Coyle back with more right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming, or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On this Wednesday, it is getting geared up, baby. Hoops galore. Jim Coyle with you, as always. Dylan Sinn from the Fort Wayne Journal-Gazette, also with coverage of Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, and much, much more. You know, speaking of Notre Dame, I love Micah Shrewsbury. Such a great guy, but boy, it's not going well up there in South Bend for him. But it does. That's a tough place. Just Bray was a pretty good coach and made some movement, but boy, Micah's got nothing going up there in South Bend right now.
Yeah, no, it's tough. I mean, obviously, part of this season was derailed when Marcus Burton got hurt. Their starting point guard, who's been all ACC the last couple of years, Mr. Basketball a couple of years ago. I mean, he's great, and he hasn't played since December. So tough season for them. And I think Mike is going to get a fourth year, if I had to guess, because of the Burton injury, and they feel like there was a lot of potential left on the table this season. But no, it is an issue where they have not given Micah the resources, I don't think, to really go out there and get high quality players at the level they need to. Hopefully that changes here going forward, because I do think he's a very good coach, but he's clearly been frustrated for quite a while here at the way his program has come together and their inability to win consistently, and it's kind of boiled over for him a couple of times, which has been tough.
Yeah, I can imagine, but it has, yeah, it's been to the point to where it's made news a couple of times, and when things aren't going well, then that usually you add that on top of it. But and then you ask, okay, well, what does Notre Dame do next? Because Mike Bray was doing a pretty damn good job, and that wasn't good enough for him. Well, they're not in a conference again. Well, I guess they are for basketball, right?
Yeah, they're in the ACC. Yeah, and they'd be better off in the Big East, but that's a whole different conversation. Whereas they moved to the ACC, and there's some teams there that they have connections with, but they have connections with more teams in the Big East, and it'd be better for them to be there. But that's my opinion. That is there's nothing factual behind that. But yeah, it is one of those things where Notre Dame, the thing with Bray is that they had missed the tournament a couple seasons in a row. They had that nice run in 2022, and they made, I think they won a couple of games. They won a first 4 game, and then the last couple of years they missed it, and it felt like it was just kind of not coming together the way it had been previously from Mike Bray. And then you bring in Micah Shrewsbury, give the program a fresh coat of paint, and that hasn't worked either. And so now the question is, how much do you really invest in this program? Is this something that you want to really be competitive in? Can you be competitive enough to be a tournament team once every 2 to 3 years, right? Because I don't think that's beyond their grasp, but you really have to invest in the program, and they haven't done that quite enough over the last couple of years under Micah. Because I do think Micah's a good coach. Like I don't really think there's any question about that, but he has not done a good enough job at this job, and he has not been given the resources to really elevate him either.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. Just looking over some tidbits, and while Joe Lunardi is no longer the source really to go to for bracketology, in his right now, Indiana is the first team out, which if that were to be the case, that's good news for Indiana, because I think that getting a win over Northwestern and depending upon how they play against Purdue, and I would think and hope for their sake they can at the least play with them, because this is not in West Lafayette, and it's the team that maybe they match up most best with in the league, that is above them. It's no question it's the team they match up most best with, because Purdue does not have the things that all those other teams have. They don't have a dominant player in the paint. Trey Kaufman-Renn is not a dominant paint player, but and their guard play, if their guard play is on and you're not doing anything about it, you're in trouble. But if you stymie their guard play, they're in trouble. Without Fletcher Lawyer scoring points and without Braden Smith being able to distribute like he does, that's what it takes to beat Purdue. But if you're not doing those things, you're in a little trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Purdue's issue the last couple of weeks, especially if they've lost 4 of 6 to end the regular season here, has been defense, right? Frankly, the only good defensive game they played was against Indiana, and that goes back in that stretch. Goes back to what you were saying earlier about Indiana not moving as well without the ball as they were early in the year. And that was kind of the game where it really became noticeable, was the IU was just stagnant on offense that entire game. The only time they really had any offense going in that game was when in that second half, when Tatum Conaway was just getting to the rim whenever he wanted. And that's been a problem for Purdue for the last several weeks here. They are not able to stop guards from getting into the paint off the dribble, no matter who it is, right? They were able to stop Connor Enright in that game because he didn't do much, but they weren't able to stop Tatum Conaway. And so I think we'll have to see if Indiana can beat Northwestern. I still think Tatum Conaway is going to have a part to play in this season for IU if they can get him going early in that game, get him some confidence, get him a couple of baskets, get Purdue's defense a little bit discombobulated. You're going to have some opportunities to score, to drive and kick, to shot they can get to the rim, all these kind of things that Purdue has really struggled to defend over the last couple of weeks here. So I think that is going to be a big part. Again, got to beat Northwestern first. I feel good about them playing against Northwestern because of the things we talked about earlier with the motivation from that earlier game. But if you're going to have a chance against Purdue, you really need to scramble their defense a little bit. And thankfully for IU, Purdue's defense has been prone to being scrambled over the last couple of weeks. So we'll have to see how that goes. But that is going to be a substantial key in that game.
No question about that. And I was trying to quickly look over KenPom to see where Indiana is.
It's low 40s, I think, 42, 43, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 41, 41, 39 and 59. And, I hate the way this thing rolls. What did I said? 39 and 59. And that is in the offensive and defensive adjusted. So I don't think 39 offensively is really good.
Yeah, it is one of those things where they were much better at the beginning of the year. Like we talked about how.
But isn't everybody, when you're playing, you're going through roughly 10 games of a butter schedule?
Sure. No, I mean, absolutely. And that's absolutely true. But they were beating up on those teams in a way that not a lot of teams do, right? Like you could just tell that they felt a little bit more confident in what they were doing at the beginning of the season, which, I mean, part of it is the competition level, right? But part of it is just that they seemed like they were a little bit crisper. They were a little bit more in tune with each other at that point in the season, which is kind of crazy considering how new that team was. I'm surprised that they haven't been able to build on that as the season's gone on.
That's part of what we're talking about here.
Absolutely it is.
They're not performing like they did earlier, whether it's the speed of how they run the offense, whether it's any discernment of your shot making. There's just a lot of things. Plus, you get into the heart of the Big Ten schedule, where all of that stuff is greatly exaggerated by a team that can magnify it for you.
Absolutely. I think a big part of it was early in the season, they were able to at least hold their own on the glass against some of this lesser competition, right? But as the season's gone on, they have not been able to even hold their own on the glass. And so that is something they have to do, is they have to be at least in the ball game on the boards. They haven't been that. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I did not see the game in person on Saturday. I was at Purdue, Wisconsin. And so I did not see the game against Ohio State in person, but one thing that I wanted to kind of draw on is, what did you think about Alexis and Bailey playing together? Because that seems like at least one way to help on the boards. It didn't seem like it hurt their offensive flow too terribly much. Is that something you think that they should do more of here as like a new wrinkle to the team that teams haven't seen very much going into this tournament?
Well, yeah, it worked. And not only that, they've got more out of Reed Bailey than they have in a long time.
Yeah.
So, and they have to do something different because what they've been doing is not really working greatly. And then you're going into the Big Ten tournament. You're going to be playing teams not necessarily against Northwestern, but after that, who have bigs and who you lose to because the paint is really is part of what's killing you. So yeah, it changes how a team has to defend Indiana, because now you cannot just focus on the perimeter, which we all know is what Indiana's game is. Make something happen in the paint. At least give it the threat that it's going to happen to draw some of that away. And I think that a change has to be made offensively right now before they play, not necessarily before they play tonight or against Northwestern. I mean, there are other changes that have to be made there. But yeah, when you play, if you get the opportunity to play Purdue, yes, put that in. Force Purdue to then match that, which changes what Purdue does. So you've got to force some teams to do some different things to beat you. And because this team is they're not a bad team. As I don't want to say as weak, as thin as their roster is, they're still not a bad team. They've got some really good pieces. And when guys play well, boy, they can be tough. When Lamar's been as consistent as anybody. And they have had Tucker DeVries here of late. He has been consistent for the last 5 games. He's been like a 12-point a game scorer, double digits. And now you're getting a little Sam Alexis back. Nick Dorn, if you got to have him involved. These guys have to all be involved. And that's again, part of the offense. There's no involvement. But they also have to be smart. Don't take a freaking shot 7 seconds into the damn shot clock if you're not a 35% shooter. But yeah. So there's potential. That's the thing. Indiana is good enough to be in the NCAA tournament. This team is good enough to be in. They made a couple of mistakes that have cost them. That Northwestern loss at home, the Minnesota loss on the road. Should have never lost to Minnesota. Minnesota's just not good. They're not better than Indiana, but that happens a lot. I understand. Doesn't matter. It cost them. Being up 16 against Nebraska. I know Nebraska's good. I don't care. You had a 16-point second half lead. Do whatever it takes to protect that lead. They didn't. I'd have to go back and look at the stats, but I'm sure that the way they play with reckless abandon caught them again. So changes have to be made. You have to have a focus. You have to understand, okay, hey, to win this game, we need to do X, Y, and Z here. That doesn't mean change everything, but that means change a few things. And if you don't, probably going to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about a bunch of guys. I think getting a lot out of Reed Bailey against Ohio State was huge in that game. Get him some confidence going into this one, because he's a good player. He has not performed to the level I think he would have wanted to this year. That I think that the coaching staff thought he could. He's a good player that can do a lot of things, right? Like he has some flaws in his game. There are holes in his game that he is not a perfect player. He can do some things with the ball. And I think that if you put him and Alexis together, that allows him to defend a 4 rather than a 5. It allows Tucker DeVries to defend a 3 rather than a 4. And that just means you have a little bit less of physicality that you need from those guys, that they have a little bit more margin for error on defense. And that just really makes a significant difference. Now you're giving up a little bit of shooting because you're replacing you're replacing Tucker DeVries the four with Reed Bailey, and probably taking Nick Dorn off the court in that case. But I think the positives outweigh the negatives. I wouldn't be surprised to see IU go with that two big lineup. I know IU fans are having PTSD about having two bigs on the floor that can't shoot. But I think for this particular team, when you have shooters around them, when you have Lamar and Tucker, and you have Connor Unred taking Conaway at that point guard spot, I think that there's enough shooting on the floor to make that work, even with Bailey and Alexis on the floor together. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go with that look a fair amount in this game and against Purdue. We'll see how that goes. I think it allows you to maximize Alexis and Bailey and give Tucker a break from rebounding. Because, I mean, that's been a big thing for him this season is that he's had to be, Tucker, I'm talking about here, has had to be much more of a rebounding threat than he has been in recent seasons and other seasons. And that's part of the reason his scoring hasn't been quite as prolific as it was before, because he's spending all that energy and effort on the glass. And it's been a big part of what IU needs from him, but it takes away from what he's doing offensively. And so we'll see whether that can help alleviate some of that burden for him and help IU give teams a new look here that they haven't seen, right? Like part of it is just the novelty of it, and see if that helps.
Absolutely. So what do you think going up? Indiana today against Northwestern Wildcats, 6 straight losses to Northwestern. 6 straight losses to Northwestern.
Yeah, it's tough. Give me Indiana in this game. I do think they win. They've been good for at least one win in the Big Ten tournament here over the last decade or so. They usually get at least one. So give me Indiana over Northwestern in the rematch. They'll be motivated coming off that loss a couple weeks ago at home. They want to extend their season and get that chance to play against Purdue. So I like IU in this one. I think they have enough to get over the top and at least extend their season for one more day.
Yeah, and then it gets interesting. I mean that will be a fun game, but Purdue has been up and down of late, and but the thing is, when the chips have been down for Indiana and they've needed to do something, I haven't seen them rise up yet.
Not yet.
It just they haven't risen up. But I think again, part of that has to do with it's all for one and one for all when you're in a situation like that. And I don't mean to overemphasize what my point has been, but when you don't have a structured system of any kind, and I don't really see a lot of structure out there offensively, I just don't think that. What are you going to change? I mean, if you don't change that, what the hell are you? How can you're living on hope?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's we'll see whether they can put some offense together tonight. And they did against Minnesota. Again, they were very good offensively against Minnesota, not just making shots, but moving the ball, getting the ball to open shooters, taking good shots. I thought they were very good in that game at shot selection, especially in that first half, but before Lamar just kind of went crazy in the second half. So they are capable of doing it. You just have to do it in a big moment tonight.
And before I let you go, great Fred pointing out, Wright State won the Horizon tournament at the Indy Fairgrounds, as you talked about. 3 Indiana high school kids on their team, 2 from Jeffersonville and 1 from up in Fort Wayne.
That's right. Kellen Pickett from Fort Wayne, Blackhawk Christian. He's Horizon League Freshman of the Year. He had the winning play there that they were up by 2 with just a few seconds left, and the opposing team, Detroit Mercy, their point guard, drives to the rim, and Kellen Pickett gets an enormous chase down block with about a second on the clock to clinch the victory. So huge game by him, huge game by Wright State. They are going dancing. They won the Horizon League regular season and tournament title in year 2 under Clint Sargent. Really impressive performance from them. And those Indiana high school kids are going dancing.
Good for them, man. Good for them. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, Jim. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you tonight in Chicago.
More coming up on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. We're back with it right after these messages.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NicoSports.com. That's NicoSports.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level it up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Wednesday. Glad to have you with us as there are tons and tons of basketball going on everywhere you look. You cannot look away from scores that are coming in from the conference championships. They're everywhere. And as a matter of fact, get caught up on those. Of course, last night or yesterday in the Big Ten, Northwestern got a win as they will move forward in the Big Ten tournament and take on the Indiana Hoosiers today. Let's see. Today is Wednesday. And then let's see. Scores in the Big Ten. Let me get to that because I did not see the other game, and I don't know why that's not popping. There we go. Why that's not popping up. Oregon and Maryland turned out the way it should have. Maryland, 70-60 winner there. Kyle Neddenriep from the Indy Star. I told you there's basketball everywhere, and Indiana boys basketball is in the heat of the season, baby. It's regional weekend. But it's not the regionals that it used to be, so I am not happy. I'm not excited. It sucked. Whoever made that decision is dumb. It's stupid. It's like Seymour used to just rock because you had 4 teams there that were all vying for the same thing. They're all on the same par. Fan bases all. Not so much anymore. Now it's like you're shipping teams everywhere. So to the IHSA. But hey, welcome in Kyle Neddenriep, the king of Indiana high school sports from the Indy Star. How are you, brother?
Good. So you're against the change that they made. I'm taking it.
I hate it. It sucks. I mean, last year I was like, wait, what? They were shipping, I think it was Jeffersonville. They got shipped to someplace and there was teams. I'm like, what? man, because it used to just rock, and I can't imagine it does the same this way.
Well, it's sort of the idea is to kind of make the regional turn that into basically the semi-state now, and you have the same, you have the 4 teams at the semi-state, and then they play at night. So
that sucks too, because there's no more Final Four. You don't really get to say, "Hey, I made the Final Four." Well, you can say it, but it's like, but we were a semi-state team,
right?
I won the Final Four, baby. Damn it! I'm gonna howl at the moon on this one.
I'd say the biggest thing I don't like is that, you're playing this huge game to go to the state finals and you don't really get a chance to fully prepare, for that game. So I think that's the thing that I don't, and I think a lot of coaches feel that way too, who have been involved in it. You win that game in the morning or early afternoon, whatever the case may be, and then you basically go back to your hotel and prepare for the biggest game of your season in just a few hours. So that's, and it's you kind of know that going into the week, that you're going to have to prepare for all the, the potential, the other 2 teams you might play. But I don't think it's a full, you don't get really a chance to fully enjoy that, what would be a quarterfinal win or what used to be the regional, championship game. You only have a few hours to really enjoy it. So I don't know. I mean, there's good and bad. There are some good, it's a long day on Saturday for the semi-state. The regional is kind of different now. I mean, you have 2 teams you have 2 games at the regional, but those teams don't play each other at the end of it. So that is a little different, but yeah, it's I don't know how to feel about it. You kind of reset after the regional. They do that semi-state draw. You find out who you play, and then you kind of go from there. And I don't mind the draw. That I think that creates a little bit of a reset, But yeah, that's mixed opinions, I think. I don't know. I don't think it will change now. I mean, not for the foreseeable future, but who knows? The tournament has been tweaked, over the years. It was different back in the day when they first went to class basketball, and there was a midweek game and things like that. So I'm not saying it could never change again, but I think it will probably continue like this for the time being.
No, there's no doubt about that. I'm not saying that we're expecting there'll be change, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spend this time moaning and complaining. What do we got up next first, man? What are I know 4A is the place to look first. I'm sure Pike, especially after we haven't spoken after the big upset, man. Fishers, down goes Frazier, down goes Fishers. Sort of one there, but yeah. And I first of all, I take my hat off to Fishers, man. What they've done, and they've done it without dominant players. Kyle, I mean, I know I'm not saying they don't have good players. Obviously they do, but I mean, truly, like guys that are 5-star guys, they haven't done it with that. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty hell of a run. And they still got more coming back because dadgummit, what's his name? Junior there is a junior.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands now, yeah, Jason Gardner Jr. is probably the closest thing, they've had to like a 5-star player, but they missed him all year, basically. I mean, he only played in 7 games, and 2 of them were right at the end there. So he sat out, almost this entire season because of that broken hand, unfortunately. And I think that, that's too bad, because junior year is huge for, recruiting. He had a chance to kind of prove himself as a shooter this year, that there was questions about his outside shooting. He didn't really get that opportunity because he didn't play, just a handful of games. So, but to your point, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I know a lot of people are like, well, Fishers didn't win 3 state championships. It's disappointing. And I think you're just kind of gaslighting if you're doing that. I mean, it's people online who just want a reaction, but you go 83-3, you win 1 state title, you come 1 point away from another, and you lose by 1 to a very good Carmel team that might win state too. So, I don't think you can. And if you watch that game, which I have like 3 times, that Carmel Fishers game, it was anybody's game. Carmel made a couple huge plays, huge shots. Cooper Zachary comes down and just buries like a 23-foot 3 to put Fishers ahead. And you're thinking, well, that's what they do. They know how to win these games. And then Ben Bremer from Carmel comes down and answers. And it's like, man, this is like a heavyweight fight. And then Fishers has basically 4 chances there in the last, 20 seconds. And, I joked with Ryan Osborne from Carmel. It was like first and goal, second and goal, third and goal. The ball kept going out of bounds. And it was like, how many chances are they going to get? And fourth and goal, they didn't quite score. And that was it. I mean, and it was a great, unbelievable scene. And, the emotions from both sides are so raw, and that's the end of the line for this Fishers team, at least for this year. And, I think we knew it was possible that could happen, but in the back of your mind, you're always kind of assuming like they're going to find a way to win. And it looked like that at the end of that game, but Carmel finds a way. And now the question is who does win 4A? Is it Pike? Is it Carmel? Is it Crown Point? Is it, is it Mount Vernon, with Luke Girdle? I mean, that's and to come full circle. I mean, that's kind of the game this week to watch. And the one I'll be at is Pike and Mount Vernon. I mean, that will be the first game between those teams was 84-81. Pike beat them. The teams combined for 33 pointers. And the crazy thing is 2 of the best players on both teams didn't play in that game. Landon Lampley was sick. And the 3 days before that, they beat Ben Davis, and he's like, I don't even feel good. And I was like, oh no, he's going to be out for the Mount Vernon game. It's sure enough, he was. And then Max Weiss from Mount Vernon was out with an ankle injury. He's their second leading scorer. So for Mount Vernon to do what they did in that game, I think speaks highly to, they obviously shot the cover off the ball, and then, Luke Girdle does what he does. So, can Luke Girdle carry this team past Pike? I mean, Pike is playing very good basketball right now. They, won the sectional at Plainfield. They had to come from behind and beat Plainfield in front of an awesome crowd. I mean, Plainfield, the whole town showed up and packed that place with standing room only across the top of the gym. Was awesome. And they won that game. That was a hard game to win. And then they beat Brownsburg too. So they're playing really well. They're confident. But I will be really curious how this game goes on Saturday. So, but yeah, that's a heavyweight. That'll be a heavyweight battle. And maybe the winner of that, at least in the southern half of the bracket, is probably the favorite. But I really there's some other teams in that southern half, like New Albany, like Terre Haute South, that I think people, might be sleeping on a little bit. Terre Haute South, they had to get through Bloomington South and J.R. Holmes. They had to come back in the last couple of minutes there to beat them. But they've won in I think 22 games in a row now. And then New Albany, we know about Noah Washington. They've played some really good teams up Indianapolis area this year. They're not very big, but very good team. And I think they have a chance to get through there. But yeah, the semi-state next week is going to be really interesting to see who gets in there. And then, if anybody can knock off this Pike Mount Vernon winner, which I think the winner of that game will probably be the favorite to go to the state finals.
Yeah, you mentioned we know who the favorites are now, or the upper end, but who's best seated for an upset?
It probably depends which half of the bracket you're looking. I mean, the game that I'm curious about on the north half of the 4A bracket is Northridge against South Bend St. Joe, and that could be it's a contrast of styles completely. Northridge plays more of a methodical pace. They want to keep the score down. They only give up 44 points a game. They have a kid named Brady Scholl who averages like 24 and a half a game, and he's going to Indiana Wesleyan. He's a really good player, and if we were in the pre-portal era, he would be going to a bigger school. And Indiana Wesleyan's great, and it'll be a good fit for him. But he's a really nice player. I think he should be a Indiana All-Star. And then South Bend St. Joe, they're up tempo. They get up and down. They play fast. They lead the state in scoring. They were the 3A champion last year. To me, the winner of that game might be somebody to think about as a potential sleeper that could win get to the state finals anyway. And I know there's teams that north half, like I mentioned, Crown Point. They play Chesterton at Michigan City. That will be a good game between two rival teams. But Crown Point, I think, is the team to beat there. And then, Carmel, obviously, I think will handle Fort Wayne Snyder. And then the other one, Homestead's kind of, they might fit that bill as well. They're a team that really, they have a kid named Mac Welker who averages like 20 and 10. He's a junior, and he's a Division I prospect for sure. He's like 6'6" and can really shoot it and handle it. So they might be a team on that north side, and they might be a year away still, but they're 19-6 and playing really well. And then around here, there's a team, Decatur Central, that has won the record for their program, 19 wins this year. This is their first sectional title in 21 years. 2005 was the last time they won one, and they play Lawrence Central, which is a team that, we thought going into the year was probably going to be really good. They've been really up and down, but they upset Lawrence North in the sectional final, and they're kind of a sleeper too. So the winner of that Decatur LC game will probably be the underdog in the semi-state, but I think a team that whoever wins that game will be a kind of a pain in the butt for whoever they play in the semi-state. So and they are talented teams. They're Marion County teams that play good schedules. So their records aren't probably indicative of how good they are, especially in LC's case, because they have beat some really good teams this year. But you don't know for sure. I mean, I don't know how that second game in Southport's going to go. Decatur Central and Lawrence Central, that will be a really interesting matchup there. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of there's kind of a hodgepodge of teams, which makes it fun. I mean, there's teams and we didn't have a ton of upsets in the sectional. There were a few, but including that Fishers game, and then you had number one Couts in 1A also lost. But I think the fact that most of the favorites got through leads to some really good matchups in the regional.
Yeah, and that usually happens, except for those sectionals where we have the masses of great teams.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that is we put that aside. Great matchups all the way down, even in 1A. We don't give 1A a lot of pub, but hey man, the same old, but the usual suspects. Bar Reeve. Ever heard of that high school? Yeah, they have. Why have they been so successful for so long?
I mean, they have great support. Basketball is what they do there. I mean, it is a quintessential Southern Indiana town. If you've ever been there, it's small, very small. It's Montgomery, Indiana. It's hard to explain unless you've been to, like, and I've been down there a few times, but it's just like, there isn't really anything else. They don't have football. So, they are good in other sports too, girl sports as well. But man, it's just like, it's a throwback. And you go to the game there and it's like you're 50 years ago, like nothing has changed. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, Bar Reeve, Lagodi, that little pocket area, North Davies, Orleans, that Orleans is a little farther away, but that pocket of Southern Indiana 1A basketball. And I want to shout out Bloomfield too, because Bloomfield, Blake Neal, he's well over 2,000 points this year, and they're not.
That's a lot.
Yeah, he's putting together a fantastic career.
How many 2,000 points? Oh no, I was thinking 3,000. Never mind.
Yeah, not the Damon Bailey,
Romeo
Langford section there, but I think he's well over 2,000 now. I have to find out what his actual number is, but they're a team too. It'd be cool if they can win against Northeast DuBois. Nothing against them, but just to see how far he can carry that team and maybe play against Bar Reeve next week in the semi-state. But he's a really good player. I think he'll be a good college player too. But yeah, they're another school. I was there last year to watch him play, and that's another place where it's basketball, man. I mean, you could be there in 1975, 1995, 2026. It's just the way it is there, and that's what they love to do.
Well, looking forward to it, man, and you should be looking forward to all of the great coverage coming from our good friend Kyle Neddenriep and the Indy Star. It is going to be there, and it's going to be a lot of it, baby. Enjoy it. I hope you got your track shoes on.
Action, we want action. There we go.
There you go, buddy. You are the man. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Kyle Neddenriep from the Indy Star. Like I said, if you're not following him, you don't have a clue what the hell's going on in high school sports in the state of Indiana, baby. Up next, our friend Dustin Schutte joins us as we'll get into the meat of not only the Big Ten tournament, but all that bounces around with the little round ball. Back with plenty more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
You know what that means? Chugga, chugga, chugga. Enrolling on his choo-choo train, our good friend Dustin Schutte. I've got to get a better train, man. That one stinks. Anyone just keeps going and then gives you the chugga, chugga deal on there. But how you been?
I've been good. I need a conductor's hat to be able to wear on to this show, but I don't know where I can buy one. Maybe Goodwill?
Oh, that would good. Google that stuff, brother. I mean, it'll pop right up. I guarantee I could pull one up in 2 seconds. But absolutely, man, we're at it. It is the what you call the nut clipping season, baby. The conference tournament is here. Most teams, we know, like from the Big Ten, that we know who's going. With one exception. Indiana's the only exception that we don't know who, if they're going or not. And it looks not at the moment. They're going to have to change that to be a going. And it's a team that should have been in. Let's be honest. They should have made it into the tournament. But they are where they are because of losing to Northwestern at home, because of giving up a 16-point lead at home against Nebraska, and because they lost on the road at Minnesota. You could take any one of those three out, and I think it changes everything. The one thing they have going for them, ironically, first of all, they've got to get past Northwestern today, Dustin, a team that they've lost to 6 straight times.
Yeah,
Six straight losses to Northwestern.
Yeah, that's insane to me. When I saw that stat when I watched the game earlier,
a trigonometry problem to figure out. I'm like, no, I got nothing for you.
Yeah, did Northwestern beat Indiana 6 times in the Bob Knight era? I'm sure that probably did happen, but like it would. I don't know what the record would be, but wouldn't that be a fun trivia question?
I can tell you that the situation they have with Wisconsin right now, they've lost like I don't even know how many straight at Wisconsin. It's an ungodly number, maybe 30.
But they hadn't lost to it, right?
It was the exact opposite up until Knight was let go. But that's a whole nother deal. But anyway, This team has the talent to be just enough talent to get in. I'm wondering, someone made a comment earlier that kind of got me thinking. I wonder if the addition of Ryan Carr right now is having dividends with roster alignment, in-game roster alignment, which is not what I think he was hired for, But I'm wondering if he said, hey, you know what? With his NBA experience, maybe try, this.
Yeah, could be. I mean, yeah, like you said, that's not what he was brought in for, but it's certainly something that could. I mean, it wasn't going to really get much worse, I don't think, right? Like, what I think what's especially frustrating is if you're an Indiana person, is the team's basically playing the same level it was earlier in the season. And you thought when you can certainly understand some of the trying to fit the pieces together earlier in the season, right? You have a roster of entirely new people. They're learning to play with each other, new coaching staff, whatever the case might be. And so you would think that would get better and better as the season progressed, but it just kind of flatlined throughout the course of the season. They had some, obviously they had the win over Purdue, so that was a big win for them. They had the home win against Wisconsin. That turned out to be a really good win for them. But then, yeah, like you said, to lose to Northwestern on your home floor, and then to go on the road in a essentially a win and get in game, they get, just dominated by Ohio State and Columbus. So I think that's frustrating, but at the same time, there is a little bit of hope today and some big news on the Northwestern front because Arrington Page is not going to play today. I didn't see what the injury is, but he's out for today's game. So that's going to be a significant boost for Indiana heading into today. And then that they win, then they'll get a chance to really kind of wiggle their way into the NCAA tournament because they'll play Purdue on Thursday. And if you win that game, then I think you're definitely in. It may still be a play-in situation, but at least you'd be in the NCAA tournament.
That is the number one goal. And if you do that, this season has been a success for Indiana. Anything short of that, it's been unsuccessful. I'm sorry. It has been unsuccessful. If you don't, it was unsuccessful last year. They've made the tournament 2 times or 3 times in 9 years. I think it's just twice, Dustin. That's just, it's ridiculous to even say. Regardless of that, we know what they have to do. They have to freaking beat a team that they're better than, first of all. Now they're down a guy. So if you don't, boy, you don't deserve Jack Diddley. And then they'd have to end up playing in the freaking Crown tournament. I don't know if they would accept it or not, but yeah. But the Big Ten tournament underway today. It really starts to get juicier. We at least have 4 games to pay attention to, and looking forward to all 4 of them. As yesterday was just 2 games with the last place teams with. That was exciting. Boy, that was can't miss television.
Let me tell you, that was, including all 18 teams, is stupid.
It is. I mean, I've said it. Who gives a crap about watching those last 4 teams? I mean, I know it's about TV, but I'm telling you, I didn't watch 2 seconds of either of those damn games.
Yeah. I would, like, to me, I don't even like 15 teams, if I'm being honest. I would, if it was me, and it's not because I'm not in charge of business decisions, I would make this a 12-team tournament and start it on Thursday. Because at this point, if you're 12 teams, like that's all that's going to get into the Big Ten tournament, and you're not really going to have. I don't remember what the NC State. I don't remember what they were seeded when they made their run to the ACC championship and won, and then got to the Final Four. I think they were seated pretty low and probably played the first day of that tournament. But it's so unlikely that you're going to go through the Big Ten from Tuesday or Wednesday to get to the championship game. Like, what? To me, it's just whatever. I understand, but 12 teams is probably your max. If you can't crack the top 12 in your conference, you don't need a spot.
When you have all those teams, they want a piece of the pie. They want.
I know they do.
Money.
Well, it's all. That's all it is. Yeah.
So yeah, and there's no way you're going to keep them out. That's probably why we ended up back with 18. The women still do 15. They were smart enough to stick at that. But again, then of course, then you would have the same problem. I don't even want to watch the men's play those first 2 games. And no offense, but I'm damn sure not going to watch the women. It's just not riveting TV. But that aside, today, Iowa, USC, Indiana, and I'm going to say Minnesota are the teams that are playing for their life. Now, Minnesota, I don't really think they're the favorite in this game, as they should be. And they're 15-16. So their only shot is to win this. That ain't happening. But they've knocked off some good teams throughout the year, man. I know they beat UCLA recently. They
beat Michigan State.
That one I knew. They beat Iowa earlier in the year. They beat this team called Northwestern. So there's that. Yeah. So, but yeah, those are the games that are on tap today at the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. Maryland and Iowa going on right now as we speak. That's on the Peacock. Then that'll be followed by USC at Washington on the Peacock. Then Northwestern at Indiana at 6:30. BTN, baby. I'm surprised they didn't make Indiana the 9 p.m. marquee game.
Well, it's just they already had the bracket set. It's just how the bracket worked out.
They can change whatever they want. Big Ten, not the only place where some good games are going on. The first place I will look is the Big 12. I love the Big 12. Number 7. The Big 12 has the number 7th ranked team playing today. The Big Ten does not have a single ranked team playing today.
No.
And they got Arizona State, who is capable of an upset. Is that where Hurley was?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
So is he
There's a lot going on there.
Is he still
I believe so. I think he's coaching through the end of the year, yes. And then they'll move on from
after
him.
the season to fire a guy. That's ignorant to fire a coach while you're getting ready to go play. It's stupid. Cincinnati gets UCF, BYU.
Yep.
How's BYU?
That'll be BYU. That's going to be an interesting one. Well, I don't know what their record was down the stretch here, but they won they won 2 of their last 3 games, I guess. But they did suffer a major injury. I can't think of the kid's name, but they did suffer a big time injury.
Yeah, they faded in the Big 12. They ended up 9-9 in the conference, 22-10 overall, though. Think about that. That's how tough that conference is. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th place at 9-9, tied with UCF and West Virginia and Cincinnati. All 4 of those teams went 9-9 to tie for 7th. But 2 of those teams, 20-win teams, and the other 2, 18-win teams. So, buddy, that's deep right there. And that will be fun. Their games today will be fun to watch. Arizona State at Iowa State. That's going on now on ESPN. Cincinnati taking on UCF. Later on today, BYU, West Virginia. West Virginia, the team that Darren DeVries left, has a shot to make it in the tournament. That will be of uber embarrassment, I think, for Indiana if West Virginia is able to get in, especially playing in the Big 12. It's not like they're playing in the Big East or something where you can sneak by. Yeah. Oklahoma State taking on TCU, other than that, in that deal. And then
Big 12 gets really fun on what's today? Today's Wednesday. So it gets really fun tomorrow because Texas Tech, Arizona, Houston, Kansas, all in action. I'm not sure how that bracket works out, but that's those 4 teams are really, even Texas Tech without JT Toppin has been fun to watch. Grant McCaslin has done a really good job of kind of uniting those guys. I don't know exactly how they finished the season, but they had some big wins even without him on the floor. So, and Arizona's phenomenal. That's a fun team to watch. They don't have to shoot. If you want to go back to the days where you didn't shoot 3-pointers, just watch Arizona for a while because they don't need to shoot the 3 at all. They can just live and die in the paint. And more often than not, they've lived. They're 29-2. That's a really fun team, but they're kind of like the other team. Like Tommy Lloyd has now reached the point where he's got to get to a Final Four because people are starting to question if he can do it. But that's gonna be a fun tournament. I think has potential to be more fun than the Big Ten tournament. But I don't know. What we thinking? Michigan's going to run the table again?
Yes, but I think it will be fun. I think it's going to be entertaining. I don't think they're going to win, by 20 points. I think we've seen teams take it to them and make it close. But the fact that they went 17-1 in a year when the Big Ten is deeper than it has been and has more teams is pretty amazing. It's the first. I'd have to go. I'm sure other teams have gone 17-1. No one has gone undefeated since that Hoosier team back in 75 and the 76 team did it. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do, man. This
would be the first team to go 19-1. Now they play 20 games.
Oh, that's right. They played 18 back in the day.
Yeah, they used to play 18. Now it's up to 20. Yeah, so I think they are the first team to go 19-1 in Big Ten play.
Well,
17-1. I don't remember.
I see. That's 18 games stuck in my head, but you are correct, sir. So today it's going on, but let's take a break. Dustin Schutte from Boilers on SI. What's the easiest way for Purdue fans to find you?
SI.com/college/Purdue is the website, or you can find me on Twitter. It's on the screen here at Schutte Dustin, or X, whatever the hell you call it these days.
We gotta clean your stuff up a little bit. That first one was boom. We gotta get a short bam. Purdue
I'm not good at promo.
Something like that. Back with more. We've got it. Appreciate you being with us. Jim Coyle back with plenty more right after we take a little pause for the cause. Appreciate you being with us.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NICOsports.com.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you.
you like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington's 2026 models like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Ball Road.
Welcome back, jabronis. Dustin Schutte with me, Jim Coyle here on this Wednesday, halfway through the week. But this is going to be a week that just slides into Monday because it's basketball wall to wall, not just the Big Ten, but every major conference going at it, baby. And it gets good today. And lots of great games that will be going on. As a matter of fact, this is busier, Dustin, than when the NCAA is going on, because you got all these different conferences that are playing all these games. It's crazy, crazy good, but not great if your job does not include supposedly watching games all day. But luckily for us, it does. Great to have Dustin with us as always from
Purdue Boilermakers on SI. There we go.
I always say Boilers. I always say Boilers.
You can say that.
But that's not how it gets there. It will?
Yeah.
See, I would always just say Boilers on SI.
I'm typing it in now. Yep, first thing that pops up. There you go. See?
There you go. There you go.
You're king of the quick and easy right there.
I prefer just get to the point. Yeah. Always. But Dustin's been you've covered a lot though. He currently covers the Boilermakers, but used to be with what was it, Down South? Was that it? Or was it
close? Saturday Tradition.
Yeah, covering college football and from Indiana. Went to Kennesaw State University. You know, I was by Kennesaw State University this past football season when I went down to Atlanta for Indiana's Peach Bowl win over Oregon. Had to stop by my old favorite Whataburger. Whataburger at the Kennesaw State exit. So enjoy.
They do have that now. Yep, there's some good food there. Marietta's got some excellent food. I don't know where people stayed. Probably, I don't know if they stayed in downtown Atlanta, but Marietta isn't a far drive at all. Kennesaw's not a far drive. So, yeah, I mean that was always fun, and obviously Indiana fans have fond memories of that trip now, right? So, yeah, this is the best time of year, though. Like, here's the thing, too, that I love. These smaller conferences that you'd never watch otherwise, there's such high stakes. And
that's where a lot of upsets happen because I guarantee you I'm not going to say half the time, but there are, and it will happen. I think it's already happened. But the team that dominates, but look like Miami, who has dominated all year at that level, they go into their tournament and get upset on a last-second shot. Most of the time, that's going to knock that team out, which is ridiculous. But I don't think that they are going to that's not going to be a case.
No, I mean, I don't think so. I think undefeated regular season, I don't care how bad their schedule is, they deserve to be in, whether they win the tournament or lose. And we'll see. There's some solid teams in the MAC. Akron's one, Kent State's another. There's I don't know what that is top to bottom, but they've got some decent teams in there, so that could be a fun tournament. But I mean, yeah, I would love to sometime just leisurely go to like one of these. It's not group of 5 because there's 1,000 conferences, but these mid-major conferences or low mid-major conference tournaments. I bet you could get in and watch the whole tournament for like $100. Concessions probably are cheap. You could just go and watch mid-major basketball with everything at stake. I think that would be a fun time, but usually it bumps into into Purdue's end of the regular season or into the Big Ten tournament, so you can't really go. Maybe one of these days when I'm retired, when I'm 113.
Well, and there's also going to be a ton going on in Indianapolis this year as
this year, yeah.
Four comes to town again, but not only that, the Division III National Championship, the Division II National Championship, the Dustin Schutte National Championship, the NAIA National Championship,
and the NIT.
And the NIT. Wow. Never happened before, but there's no place where it should happen every year if you wanted to be honest, but they're not going to do that. Hey, speaking of which, a great place to watch all of that, if you're in Bloomington or coming to Bloomington, Dave & Buster's. They've got game specials from Sunday through Thursday, and you want to talk about a place to watch games. They've got these multiple wall TVs. And when I say wall, I mean they're on the wall. They go from floor to
Human Crane.
Have you been on Human Crane?
No, I want to, but I want to have a chicken wing with me and see if I can dip it into a sauce as I go on the way down.
Okay. Why don't we do the show live? You come here and we do the show live from Dave & Buster's next week.
There we go.
We can. I'm not kidding. And because I know they would love that.
Well, next week will be tough, but maybe after basketball season.
Show on the Human Crane.
There we go.
If you would come down, I would. I promise you.
Or the week of the Final Four, sometime when I'll be in Indiana.
I'll be at the Final Four.
Well, I know, but I'm saying the week of.
Okay.
You won't be there. Why would you be there on Thursday? Or
okay.
Whatever. We can figure out a different day. See, I talked you into it.
Okay.
There we go.
If that's as soon as it can happen, then that's as soon as it can happen. But
I got Big Ten tournament. I got travel, so can't happen this coming week. But maybe after that, we can work something out.
What are your thoughts of Purdue this year? Honestly, did they reach expectations? Were expectations too high? What are the current expectations?
Yeah, I think we fell into the trap, and I'll admit that I was guilty of this. I think we fell into the trap of just almost getting blinded by the stars. Oscar Clough was a highly thought of transfer center, and Omer Meyer was thought to be, one of the top incoming guards, especially from the international ranks.
He played well, and he played well early.
Mm-hmm. A lot of these guys have played well, at different stages, and so but I think everybody thought collectively, okay, when you couldn't rebound the basketball and you struggled with your post defense last season, Oscar Clough, and then you get Daniel Jacobson back from injury, and we didn't really account for this team still got to find a team chemistry. This team, Daniel Jacobson was thought to be the rim protector. His body's just not quite ready to be a Big Ten. To go through the grind of a Big Ten basketball season. He's had some good games here and then, but he's gotten moved around a lot. Omer is still learning to play without the basketball in his hands. He's very good at getting his own shot off the dribble, but when he's coming off screens, I think that's still an element he's developing. So Purdue had the right pieces. If they had a full another year with this entire team together, I think that they could be, a lock might be a stretch, but a really good Final Four caliber team. But I just think they didn't maybe quite fit together. Now, that's not to say they can't make a run, because this is still a team that beat Texas Tech by 30 on a neutral floor. They went into Alabama and won that game by 7 early in the season. They've had some good wins. They beat Nebraska in Lincoln. But by and large, and a lot of their downfalls came at home, losing to Michigan at home, losing to Illinois, to Wisconsin, Iowa State. So this team had expectations and a goal of winning the Big Ten title. So for them to go from preseason Big Ten favorite to finishing 7th in the conference, not like 3 or 4, 7th, they fell way short of expectations, in my opinion. But the fortunate thing is you get a chance to hit the reset button now that it's March. And this was a team that lost 5 of its last, I can't remember if it was 5 of 7 or 6 of 8 last year. and was a offensive foul call away from beating Houston and getting to the Elite Eight. And I think they would have beat Tennessee and gotten back to the Final Four. So I think the talent is there. It's just a matter of if this team can gel and play their best basketball when they need to. But the last month, they're 6-7, and it would indicate that they are not playing their best basketball when they need to. So we'll see what happens. But I think this Big Ten tournament could be at least some indication. I think they have. I don't want to say they have to beat Indiana because obviously they're in the tournament. But I think in order to get some confidence and carry some momentum, you got to win at least one game in the Big Ten tournament.
Gotta win. Dustin is asked by Pecan Pies on the you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is there a chemistry problem with Purdue? I'm hearing there is.
I don't really think so.
From the jabroni line. I guess we'll call it the jabroni line.
I'm not. I don't think that's the case. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room, and everybody speaks highly of each other. I think that there's a level of
Well, we heard that stuff about Indiana last year, and it was a bunch of crap.
Right. And so if there is, they're hiding it very well. I do think that there's a level of. I have wondered if there's a level of like these guys have been together for 4 years, and they've been playing together since June. And it's just, I've described it as like, maybe there's some sort of family dynamic where like you love your brother, you love your sister, but if you're stuck in a house with them for 3 months, you're going to fight with them occasionally. Right. So I think there may be some of that going on just because of the losses piled up.
Years.
Correct. It's 4 years of that, and it's a long time to spend together. So I think that there might be a little bit of that. And especially when you're not winning games and the losses pile up, I think there can be, I'm not going to say some finger pointing, but I think there could be some frustration. But again, I think that the fact that they have played together for 4 years and that they've been through so much together, I do think that I don't think it's a chemistry problem because offensively, this team is fantastic. They still have the number 2 rated offensive efficiency rating in Ken Palm. Even the Wisconsin game, they couldn't get stops. They were scoring just fine. Like they know where each other's at. They know how to play offense. It's just the defensive side. And this team has really struggled to communicate. This isn't just a this year problem. This goes back to last year where guys are in the wrong spot. They're not communicating well. They're not calling out screens, whatever the case might be. And one thing that was interesting to me, and this is going to sound really dumb. So this is me putting on my tinfoil conspiracy theory hat. But before the season started, and I think this might point to some of the issues they've had at Mackey Arena, Fletcher Lawyer was asked just like what it's like to play inside Mackey Arena and how much of a home court advantage it is. And he did say something along the lines of, it can be hard for us to even hear on defense because it gets so loud. And usually I would pass that off. But again, when a team doesn't communicate that well, and you look at how well Purdue's played on neutral courts and for the most part played away from Mackey Arena, I do wonder if that's going to be a factor and maybe why they can make a deeper March run. Because if you don't communicate well, because you can't hear at home, does that help you a little bit on a neutral floor? Or, I mean, it's a crazy thought, but it's been an odd year. And I think just because people had such high expectations for this team, they thought Braden Smith was going to be the player of the year. Trey Kaufman-Renn, first team, all Big Ten. And, Michigan comes in with a team full of monsters this year and just surprises everybody. So I don't think there's a chemistry problem. I think that there's just, things haven't gone their way. And when that happens, things get a little frustrating. But again, this is now you put the regular season behind you, you put all the misfortunes behind you, and you look ahead to March. And if you can do some good things in the Big Ten tournament, carry some momentum into March Madness, anything can happen. I mean, we saw it a few years ago, NC State as an 11 seed made a run to the Final Four. We've seen Butler, VCU, George Mason, Kentucky as an 8 or 9 seed one year. Michigan State's had some teams where they struggled in the regular season and make an Elite 8 run. So it's going to be really interesting. I would not count against this team. I don't think that I wouldn't be someone to bet on them to make the Final Four, but at the same time, I'm not a betting person. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. This is one last go around for Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Renn, and they're not going to go out without a fight. I can promise you that.
You want to bet?
I do not.
Just kidding. So yeah, we'll find out. I mean, yeah, they're going to fight, no doubt, because it's the end of a run that Purdue has never seen the likes of, and we'll never see the likes of again because of how this was with those core guys for those 4 years. That's never happening. That's out. And on top of that, I'm not cracking on Braden Smith. He became the all-time leading assist leader for the Big Ten Conference, I believe. And so, but when you could lob it into freaking Zach Edey for 2 damn years, I'm pretty sure I could pile up some pretty good assist numbers there. But this run of this core, and then you add in Zach Edey. I know they made a national title game, but when you look at the overall picture, was that successful? I mean, it was successful in wins, and they got to the title game, but that is probably, it's a guess to say that's the best they're ever going to be because we don't know what the future holds. But knowing it's probably one of the best that they've ever had, is that disappointing to Purdue fans, knowing that, boy, oh boy, a shot at a national title was there, and you don't get that close very often.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I think that the guys in the locker room are probably more disappointed because they had those expectations before, and they embraced them. Like, it wasn't like, well, we just play it one game at a time. No, they had all set out to win a national championship. And so I honestly think a lot of this team's or this group's legacy will be defined this month. If they can find that juice and play the way they were playing in November and through December when they were 17-1 and 7-0 in the Big Ten, they can find that energy, then they have a chance to make a Final Four run. I do believe that. I don't know that they can win the national championship because Michigan's damn good, Duke's damn good, Arizona. There's a lot of Florida's playing phenomenal basketball right now. There are a lot of really good teams out there. But if they can get back to the Final Four, muster a way to do that, then I think you look at it holistically and you say, okay, they won 2 Big Ten championships, a Big Ten tournament title, and made it to 2 Final Fours. Then I think you can say it's successful. If this team maybe gets to like the Sweet 16, I think you can still say it's been a successful run for those 3 guys. But I think you also walk away feeling like there was something left on the table, especially considering the expectations. So that's why I think this is probably the most important March, and that's why I think Purdue's going to be a really tough out, because I think all 3 of those guys, as much as they've been through at Purdue, feel the pressure now probably more than they ever have. But to that point, Jim, I think even if they would have won the Big Ten this year and they were eliminated in the Sweet 16, I think then you still feel the same way. So I think that this team, no matter what it was facing, its legacy is going to be defined by how it performs in March.
No doubt. Dustin Schutte, Boilers on SI. You can find it. Appreciate you, brother. And he'll have plenty of coverage coming up throughout the tournament, NCAA and Big Ten as well. Hey, appreciate each and every one of you. Big thanks to Dylan Sinn, Kyle Neddenriep as well. We're back tomorrow to do it again. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio. Stay tuned for Glass.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.